Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca and this is my new moon report for Pillars of the Moon. So welcome everyone, and here we are again at a dark moon. We're at the culmination of the last cycle. So yeah, today the moon is waning in its dark time before it comes to its newness, which will be the new moon will be on Saturday. So in the GMT time zone. So that's the 13th. And so now we have a few days of like this real kind of resting, hopefully, and processing and integrating the last cycle. And really, when I look back in time, since the Great Conjunction, which was on the winter solstice on the 21st of December 2020, we all had such big activations then, and the last few cycles that have come since that conjunction have been incredibly deep. And so I know a lot of people who've been going through really deep stuff the last few cycles, and we've had a lot of kind of influence from Pluto. We've had a lot of squares between Saturn and Mars and Uranus, and there's been a lot going on for us to. It's really been about transformation and healing for many of us over these last few cycles. And so now, as we're coming into the new moon, which will be in Pisces, and so I use 13 star sign astrology for those of you who don't know. It is correlated to the actual sky and what's going on in the stars and the actual alignments. And so right now, today in the dark moon, the sun has just met with Mercury in Aquarius. And so then over the next few days, it will journey through constellation or stars of Aquarius, and then it will come into its newness, the new cycle, in the very beginning, in like the cusp of Pisces. So yeah, this is a really powerful new moon, and this cycle that we're going to be coming into over the next 4 weeks is actually an 8-week cycle, because the constellation of Pisces and Virgo, we're going to have 2 full moons in Virgo and 2 new moons in Pisces over the next 2 cycles. So it really is an 8-week journey, when we come into this Piscean and Virgo kind of Isis energy. It's really about really incredible spirituality and infinite consciousness with the Pisces. And then Virgo, Isis, she is the priestess that brings down that energy into the temple. And so this is the journey. It's like grounding down that spiritual awareness into physical form. This is the energy of Virgo Pisces. So, and for me, I love this time of year because I'm a Pisces and my birthday is this cycle coming now. So, I'm having my rebirth time, which is so exciting. I was born just after Ostara, or spring equinox. So my seasonal influence that I was born into is that of Ostara. And so, I really resonate with using that Celtic Wheel of the Year, as that is also part of my blueprint, so I'm just going to show you before we jump into charts and everything. I showed you briefly last month what I've been working on as part of my wheel for Pillars of the Moon, and because it's just a really good way. You will see that. I want to make it bigger. Hold on. There we go. Right, so this is my Pillars of the Moon wheel, which I'm totally in love with because it's combining the actual sky, so the astronomical data and the constellations, and they're all their correct sizes and they're all different, and then I'm combining the lunar cycle, which is the inner wheel. And so the lunar body, we have 13 lunar bodies, and then we have 13 galactic bodies, you know, so this has got similarities to the Mayan calendar, who also use solar and lunar combinations. But what I'm bringing in with this Pillars of the Moon wheel is the part in the middle. You know, this is the seasonal wheel. So Western astrology and tropical astrology, you know, they use the stars to bring down this seasonal wisdom. But actually, it doesn't make sense to me, because it's not actually, you know, the sun is not going into Aries now, it's just going into Pisces. So, you know, my vision is to use the actual astronomical information that is aligned in the skies right now, and then returning to the seasonal Celtic wheel of the year, which was, you know, on these lands where I'm living in England and Bridget's Isles, you know, we would all use this calendar system, and it still works to this day. You know, Stonehenge and all of the amazing ancient temples that were built, you know, they still align with the equinoxes and the solstices, even after thousands of years, you know. So this wheel, they would have been using this calendar. So that marks the 8 turnings of the wheel. And so when you think about the inner wheel, you know, you have the 13 here and then the 13 on the outside. So I guess the inner wheel would be more like our feminine lunar feelings and the waters and the tides, and that definitely more feminine yin way of being. And then the outside being that galactic solar star energy. And so working together with them, and where they meet is the earth in the middle. And so this is where we have our seasonal turnings and the changes in the earth. And yeah, and so we're coming up to Ostara as well, which is the equinox, spring equinox here in the north, and autumn equinox in the south. Mabon is called the autumn equinox. So yeah, so if you look over here, this is the sun going into Pisces. So at the time of Ostara, you know, we are actually in the stars of Pisces. And so when I was born, the sun was in the stars of Pisces. So my galactic star influence is Pisces. And I was born in the season of Ostara. So I was born with the influence of the spring equinox as my seasonal journey. You know, and in the Pillars of the Moon journey, the 13 moons, I was born in the time of the 6th moon. And so that is connected to new beginnings and awakening. It's like new shoots moon, is what I like to call it. So when you see, like, we're putting together all of these energies, you know, it's not just the stars, or it's not just the earth, but it's a combination of all these different energies that I've come into, you know. So I find, for me personally, being born in spring, you know, I tend to be quite a morning person. I've got lots of energy at initiating things. I've got a strong maiden energy, quite playful and energetic, bubbly, that kind of, yeah, spring maiden energy about me. And interestingly, in the Chinese astrology, I am a rabbit or hare, so that's also connected to this time of year, which is Ostara, spring. So, but, you know, if I was born in the Southern Hemisphere in March, you know, I would still have my stars in Pisces, but my season would be Mabon, would be autumn. So that'd be super different. And so when I do charts with people, I like to look at, you know, where people were born and the season that it was, and that has a real influence on who we are. Even the time of day we were born, you know, how long our birth was, it really does influence us. And so you often find people who were premature or came quite early into the world, like me, are always really early for things. And then people who went over their thing, they like to take their time. And it's so funny when you start to look into that, because there's so much truth in it. It's quite funny. But anyway, so yeah, this is my project that I'm working on. And yeah, I'm totally, yeah, it's still like more and more is coming to me for it. But yes, I just wanted to share that with you all. And also, you know, this time of year is when we go in the equinox time. It's time of perfect balance, you know, so there's equal days and equal nights. And so, yeah, I'll just share with you an image that I found about that. So if you look here, you know, this is the equinox. So it's like right down the middle. It's the time of perfect balance. Oh, what's going on? I think I'm okay. Yeah, I was sharing a screen and it's gone. But anyway, the equinox is a time of perfect balance. I just had a little bit of a technical thing there, but I think that went okay. Did you see the equinox picture? Let me try again. Okay. I think that you can all see that. Yeah, we're okay. So you've got it. Yeah, so you can see the winter solstice, you know, for us in the northern hemisphere, you know, we are in the time of most dark, and the south are in the time of most light. And then at the equinox, it's balanced, it's completely equal. So there's a real balancing feeling here, you know, and if we can really tune into that, you know, it can be a really beautiful time of like coming into alignment and balance. And, you know, with the energy of spring, we are rebirthing out of the underworld of winter and coming out into the sun of the light of the new kind of external expression of us. And so for those of you who are in the south, you know, you are shedding now. It's like the time of letting go and release. You know, you're coming into autumn equinox. So your next Sabbath will be Samhain, which is the Celtic New Year. So this is the time of rebirth because you go into the underworld. So we are just emerging from the underworld and you're about to go in the south. So this is why I like to work with the world as a whole, because obviously, and I've had a few charts with people recently who are born in Africa, you know, so their seasonal energy is very different. And so what we've found is actually, you know, they are quite ruled by the sun, you know, so they are quite external a lot of the time and like to be out there and sharing and very expressive and like the light and all of that, where I guess, you know, I haven't had anybody's chart who lives up in the colder parts of the world, but, you know, I suppose you'd be more internal and more kind of yin and quiet, because obviously there's less people that live up there as well. And so, you know, it's just fascinating when you start to work as a whole. And I love seeing things as a whole. And so moving into this month's cycle, I'm going to show you the whole cycle. So here we go. So this is the whole cycle. So we're starting over here with our new moon in Pisces. This is the 13th of March at 10:21 a.m. And then we're going to move to our first quarter moon, which will be on the day of the equinox. That's so yummy to be like, yeah, first quarter moon, which is the moon is in complete balance. Look at that. And that is the picture I just showed you of the equinox, what it looks like for the sun, you know, equal day, equal night, equal moon. So it's a real time of balance, this first quarter moon in Gemini. And Gemini is like, it's the twins. And so when I think of Gemini, you know, I think of things, I imagine things a bit differently. And I see Artemis and her twin brother, Apollo. Apollo is ruled by the sun. Artemis is ruled by the moon. And they are balanced. They are twins, right? So I see the energy of Gemini. It's about yin and yang and polarities, and the moon and the sun and the solar and lunar energies in balance. So to have this first quarter moon coming up in Gemini, it feels very balancing energy. And then we'll come round to our full moon, which will be in Virgo on the 28th of March at 1948. You can take a screenshot of this if you like it, and yeah, share it and use it, and you can keep the dates and everything. You don't have to remember them. Yeah, so the full moon will be in Virgo, and so as I've said, it's like bringing the mystical, magical dream of Pisces and drawing it down, drawing that moon energy down and bringing that into an earthly temple. And this is the Isis energy of the priestess. So this is a really, this full moon that will be coming up will be about grounding the dream, grounding all that we're visioning and imagining, and bringing that heaven down into the earthly body of Virgo. And then our last quarter moon will be in Saggy on the 4th of the 4th at 11:02. And so this is our waning energy, or our descending energy. And, to be in Sagittarius, I see the Gemini and Sagittarius energy as like the gatherers and the sharers of knowledge, so this is like bringing through the spiritual knowledge and sharing it. This whole cycle is going to be, I feel, quite a spiritual journey about gathering knowledge and wisdom and then anchoring that down into the temple of Virgo. And then on the next lunar cycle, when we'll be in April, we'll have another new moon in Pisces. So at the moment, this new moon is right on the cusp of Aquarius and Pisces. So it's kind of over here. But it takes 38 days for the sun to go through Pisces because it's a really big constellation. Virgo and Pisces, I think, are the biggest constellations. Yeah, I think that's correct. And so when we are in the Virgo and Pisces energy, we quite often have 2 full moons or 2 new moons in these energies. And so, that's also quite a big thing to know, because it's like, okay, so we have 2 lunar cycles of really working with this energy. And it's the spiritual priestess energy. It's the cosmic earthess energy. And so we're bringing in the cosmic and the earth energies, and this is what the Pisces symbolizes. So the Pisces symbol is 2 fish swimming in opposite direction. One fish represents spirit, the other fish represents material, physical, and then they've got that line in the middle that joins them together. So I see this as like the cosmic energy of Pisces, because Pisces represents everything, infinite ocean of consciousness. So bringing through the Piscean energy of the spiritual cosmic realms and the physical energy of the priestess in the temple and the earth, and the point that brings them through in the middle, what is that joins them together? Well, it's us. We are the channel for heaven on earth. We are bringing through that because we are spirit and we are body. We are both. So we are that joining point of those energies. And the Pisces energy is really connected to the child and the baby in the womb. And so this also connects with Ostara as well, because Ostara is the time of new beginnings and birth. And there's all these lambs everywhere here, these baby lambs are coming out and all the new flowers are coming out. Really is a time of fertility. And so Ostara, originally is where Easter comes from. And Easter is connected to the word estrogen, which is about female fertility. This is why we have the eggs at Easter. It's about the eggs being fertile, and wanting to be impregnated, and new life being created, from these energies of spring. All the birds are starting to get really excited and playful with each other. It's a time of baby making and creation. Beautiful, fertile time of year of rebirthing. So this is the cycle. And then in the next lunar cycle, when we have our next new moon in Pisces, the moon will be kind of more in the later degrees of Pisces. And then when we have the full moon in Virgo, it will be more in the later degrees of Virgo. So we get like a beginning and an end. So this is like the first cycle is the beginning, and then next lunar cycle will be the culmination of that. And then so the next quarter moon will be in Cancer, and the next last quarter moon will be in Capricorn. So then we'll be looking at the mother and father energy again. That's for the next cycle. So yeah, that's just like an overview of what is to come. Now I'm going to jump into the charts. So let's bring those up for you. Okay, so this is our new moon in Pisces, 13th of March, 10:21. So you can see here, I'm just going to draw on it again for you. So this is all of the action around the new moon. So we've got the moon and the sun right at the beginning of Pisces. So they're at 1 degree over here, and they're conjunct Venus and Neptune, who are in the end degrees of Aquarius. And so this energy is incredibly cosmic, you know, because Neptune is really spiritual, connected to spirit. And our spirituality, also like our dreams, it's really cosmic energy, and it's the ruler of Pisces. And so Neptune is going to be journeying in Pisces for the next kind of 20 years or something when it moves into Pisces. But obviously it's going to go through its retrograde as well, so it will go back through Aquarius and then poof, back into Pisces again. So yeah, so Neptune and Venus together, it's really quite, it's universal love. In Aquarius, you know, it's like, wow, it's cosmic love and it's spiritual love. So this could be a really, really beautiful new moon if we're really tapping into the Venusian and the Neptune energy working together, you know. So when you think of Neptune being like the dream and Venus being about love and our values and our feelings and all that we want to create, you know, I could see this next cycle being incredibly creative. So it'd probably be a great time for artists, for writers, for poets, for tarot readers, all kind of mysticism, spirituality in all its forms, you know. And so with the first quarter moon, you know, being in Gemini, we're really going to really communicate that creative expression from that dreamy place of Pisces sun, you know, and conjunct Venus. Venus is going to be following the sun for a little while, and then eventually she'll come as our evening star once she crosses over the sun. So at the moment we can't see Venus because she's super close to the sun. But Venus and the sun together are really nice, you know. It's really beautiful to shine the light of the sun on all that we love. So, and there's also the goddess asteroid Ceres as well, is right next to the sun, conjunct Chiron. So Ceres is kind of connected to how we're nurtured, how we care. It's very motherly energy. And so to have Ceres right next to Chiron, all connected to this beautiful alignment here in Pisces, it really is about healing. It's about care and nurturing, mothering ourselves. And so this next cycle, it feels like a really deep, creative time of healing and love, which is also great. We've had a really, really deep few cycles over the last 2 lunar months since the conjunction on the solstice. So this feels like a blast of universal love for the next 2 cycles, and really tapping into our spiritual side, you know, and tapping into our dreams. You know, my dreams have been incredibly vivid the last few weeks because Neptune has crossed over my Mercury. My Mercury is in Aquarius in my chart. So it's like, wow, whoa. So such vivid dreams, and like lots of friends popping in for visits, and stone circles and crystals and all kinds of wild things happening. So what's happening in your dreams? You know, now is a really good time to make a dream journal. This new moon, especially being in Pisces, is really quite otherworldly and cosmic. It could be a great time to do tarot reading, vision boarding, art, and just really getting into that creative energy in us, you know, and what do we want to create? You know, then by the time we get to our first quarter moon, which is over in Gemini. So yeah, Gemini over here. And as I said, this is the twin energy. This is the solar and lunar combined. This is how I see Gemini. It's about the twins. Twin flame as well. I connect the Gemini energy to love and the heart and union, actually. When my son was born, my beautiful son Arthur, he was born in the stars of Gemini. So, and I feel like because when he came in, I received this message of like, this is the twin consciousness that's coming in from this child and from the children that are born in the stars of Gemini. It's like they're bringing in this balance of the lunar and the solar energies. He's got really strong fire in his chart, but he's also got a really prominent water as well, and air, obviously with the Gemini. But he's definitely bringing in this balance of masculine and feminine inside of us. And so, yeah, it's a really beautiful thing. And so, yes, by the time we get to the first quarter moon, which will align with Ostara, so the moon will match the sun in like, it's a time of real balance and equilibrium, you know, harmony, synastry. And obviously here now Venus will be right next to the sun. They're still kind of journeying with Chiron and Ceres. And then Mars will be connected to the North Node as well over here. Like Mars will be right next to the North Node at the time of the equinox and the first quarter moon. And so this feels like lots of action and drive towards our destiny, our collective destiny. Because the North Node, or the dragon's head, is connected to where we're all going right now. And so I see the Taurean energy is connected to Hathor, it's connected to Aphrodite and Venus. It's the young Venus energy. This is the young earth, you know, the birthing earth, like that real kind of, yeah, you imagine the Aphrodite energy, you know, it's very playful and sensual and in the body, in the senses and the feelings, valuing ourselves, loving ourselves and connecting with others. And so it feels like the Mars energy meeting with the North Node. It's like bringing lots of action and drive into this new earth, you know, into this new vision that we are really calling down, this template. It's like, okay, so we are the channel. We are bringing through, we are heaven and we are earth. So it's remembering that and then using the Mars and the North Node to really start to make action into those things. Yeah, and obviously Gemini being very communicative as well and likes to share. So we might find that the first quarter moon will be lots of sharing and this wanting to socialize. So there might be this kind of urge to get out there and kind of start sharing things, start building things, start creating in a more external way. Yeah, and so then when we get to our full moon, which will be in Virgo over here, this will be on the 28th of March, just after my birthday. So also a little personal share from me. My sun is in Pisces, but my North Node is also in Pisces and my South Node is in Virgo. So I know all about these energies because it's who I am. So this is why I love talking about this energy, because I feel at this time of year I get super mystical and I get all these downloads and visions, and And the Virgo in me, like what my South Node is where I've come from, and it's in the 10th house of the Fucus. So it's like it wants to get it right, wants to get it perfect, and wants to create this amazing space for the divine to come through, which to me is the Pisces energy, is the bringing it down. So these two working together, you know. The thing with Virgo is we can get stuck in the details of making it so right. And on the flip side of that, Pisces is like, details, nah. I'm just free and expressive and love and compassion and empathy. I feel everything. I love everything. You know, so Virgo can be quite precise and get stuck in the details. And so Pisces is, I feel, like my North Node is teaching me to let some of that go, you know, that you can't control everything. And so the full moon being at the fullness of the cycle, you know, it's the high point or the full expression of this lunar cycle being in Virgo. Now, I really feel this is a really potent time to really ground our intentions and our creativity and our visions into using the Virgo full moon, you know, in our advantage to really, this is a great time for priestesses. This is a great time for witches and people who are working with the earth and the seasons and the cycles, to really anchor these visions and these templates that we're working with. Yeah. And then our last quarter moon will be, as I've said, in Sagittarius. So that is our waning energy. And the waning energy is about reflection. It's about, it's kind of like the descent, isn't it? So we're letting go of things and releasing things. So we might find when we get to the last quarter moon, which will be on the 4th of the 4th, that we are really looking at our truth. You know, because Sagittarius really wants to know the truth and explore the truth. What does the truth mean? It's really about discernment as well, and exploring beyond like the physical, exploring into new layers of being, you know. And Sagittarius is where the galactic center is, you know. So I feel like when we're really tapping into this energy, it could be really powerful. This descent that will start in Sagittarius is going to meet with Pluto and then Saturn, you know, and then Jupiter. So this is going to be a really transformative descent, to say the least, before it then comes to its new moon again, which will be obviously still in Pisces. So yeah, so the descending or the last quarter moon is also going to be very powerful. And I find, like from working with this lunar cycle for many years, that it's not just the new moons and the full moons that hold great power, you know, because the cycle as a whole, you know, we have a new beginning at the new moon, then we have a waxing, then we have a fullness, then we have a descending. And so it's a 4-part journey, just like the seasons, you know, and just like our breath comes in, gets to the top, goes out, gets to the bottom. And so this is where the 4 can be very stabilizing. 4 is about foundations. I just noticed that the South Node is at 4 degrees on the last quarter moon. Yeah, so anyway, we might find this last quarter moon, which is on the 4th of the 4th. Look at that. You know, I get really excited by these little synchronicities, don't I? Yeah, so what was I saying? So I'm super dreamy today. I'm really kind of cosmic, and yeah, so I'm probably going to stop talking really soon. I don't know if I'm making a lot of sense, but yeah, this feels like a really deep, beautiful healing cycle. You know, when we're looking at the new moon, going back to the new moon, you know, we are starting with all of this healing energy here, and care, you know, and the cosmic spiritual energy of Pisces, right next to Neptune and Venus, who are in Aquarius. They're wanting universal love. They're wanting us to come into this consciousness of love and union and community and togetherness. So the cycle will go around and then come back here. So then we get another go of it next month. So yeah, what are we really visioning? What are we calling in from these cosmic realms? And what can we tap into at this time? So if you have any Pisces or Virgo in your chart, this will be really powerful for you. If you have any Gemini or Sagittarius in your chart, you'll be feeling this, because there's 4 archetypes that are really prominent through this cycle. When we have the Pisces, we have the Virgo, we have the Gemini, we have the Sag. That is the whole cycle. It's the complete cycle of the 4 anchor points or the pillars of this journey. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing this now. So I just have a beautiful image of Ostara by Amanda Clark. Beautiful hair here. And so this is a time of fertility. It's a time for us in the Northern Hemisphere. We are coming out of this slumber here. She is waking up and starting to jump like a spring hare. So beautiful activity that I love to do at this time of year is to make little eggs. You can make them out of clay, or if you actually have eggs, you can paint actual eggs, and really celebrate this time of year and the fertility. This season of Ostara is about fertility. It's about creation, creativity coming out. And then for you lovely people who are in the Southern Hemisphere, you are coming into a time of endings and harvest and weighing up things, and starting to, because the full moon in Virgo is going to be really powerful for you, because the Virgo energy knows just what to do with all the herbs from the year. She's like, okay, we need to cut down that, we need to store that, we need to dry that, we need to make a tincture out of that. That's the magical priestess energy of Virgo Isis, so this is what this whole constellation represents. We have 2 full moons in Virgo, 2 new moons in Pisces, so this is a really magical time. Okay, I think I'm done now. So I hope that you have a wonderful new cycle. I hope that you can call in all of these visions and kind of connect with stars and connect with the cosmic energies, and bring it through our beautiful temple and ground it with the Virgo full moons. So yeah, 8-week journey, everyone, with the Virgo and Piscean energy, especially. So, and also happy Ostara for you in the north. All of us in the north, we're celebrating our season of Ostara and the spring equinox. And blesses Magon or autumn equinox for you who are in the south. And I hope that you have a really balancing time, whatever you're doing, and feeling that center, and of the beautiful solar and beautiful lunar energies, and how they are in equilibrium and balance inside of us at this time of the equinox. Okay, my loves. Well, I love you all, and thank you so much for listening. And I will see you at the Virgo full moon, which will be in 2 weeks. All right, darlings, lots of love. Ciao for now. Bye.